What is up, super friends, and welcome to today's video, one that I'm very happy to bring to you. Welcome to my unboxing review of the Mattel DC Comics Multiverse Super Friends Superman, a figure that I was really excited about for it to come out. It looks very clearly like this is Mattel making good on the fact that they screwed up so badly on the Mattel 30th anniversary Superpowers Superman that came on that old Superpowers style card back. The colors weren't right. The figure was basically a disaster. There was glue marks constantly where the cape attached to the body, and it didn't have a cloth goods cape. How can you have a Superpowers kind of throwback without putting a cloth cape on it? Well, fast forward, Mattel probably listened to their fans and customers and put out the Super Friends line, and the Batman and the Superman both come with cloth goods cape. This is one that I've been really excited about, so let's just open it. Let's take him out of the package and see what we got. Boom! Just gonna slide him right out like that. Box over the shoulder as usual. And here's what you get in the package. You get this. It's a card back that fits in this, a figure stand, and it's Jose Garcia Lopez's artwork. And if you turn it around, you'll notice that if you get all four of the Mattel Multiverse Super Friends figures, it actually has a Super Friends banner that you can pose your figures in front of, or you can just pose them this way. This is very reminiscent of the Watchmen figures. They all came with kind of like a card back like that. Anyhow, so you get this. And obviously you get the Superman figure, which is the whole reason why you bought it in the first place, and it looks fabulous. So far, I'm really impressed. So yeah, here we have a Superman that I think finally employs the proper blue and a correct red with the right kind of shape and size S on his chest, and I think he looks fabulous. Now, as a Superman fan myself, I know there were a lot of us wondering whether or not we would see his iconic yellow S on the back of his cape, and as you can see here, they put it on. They included it. It's done a little bit differently than the Superpowers Superman S was done. On the Superpowers, it was fabric paint they used, and the outline work was all where they didn't apply the paint. Where on the Mattel one, it's some kind of a transfer or something like that. I don't think it's actually fabric paint. You can tell that it's a transfer of some kind. It still looks great. However, I don't think it looks as good as the S on the back of the Superpowers one. I do want to point out this is a 30-year-old figure, and the S on the back of this cape is actually a little bit messier, a lot messier, and not as crisp as it was when I first got it. However, I still have to give Mattel points for actually going to the effort to include the S on the back of the cape. I think they knew if they screwed this up that they would have a lot of people upset with them. So bringing the Superman figure in for a closer look, we're going to start at the head and go all the way down to the toes, and we're going to talk about what we have here. For one, this is the Eradicator Superman head sculpt. It's actually one of the better ones that I've seen, because quite often the heads look all squishy and mashed. This isn't too bad. You can tell that they've gone with a more basic Super Friends kind of look, because only the eyebrows and the eyes are painted in straight black. There's no white. It's very simple, like the Super Friends cartoon show. Then you've got this nice big S on his chest. Now the S itself really isn't that much bigger than the typical S insignia we've been given on Superman's chest in the past. The main difference is that it's thicker. And I prefer the S to be thicker than this really thin looking S on the rest of the Superman's chests. So to me, this earns massive bonus points. A lot of us fans were really excited to see this S. Then we've got that nice rich blue color. The belt has a little bit of yellow deco right there, right in the middle of his belt buckle, which is a nice little added touch. We have a nice deep red for the trunks. Again, that rich blue on the legs. And then we have the boots here. And a lot of people were wondering whether or not the boots were sculpted or not. Well, here's your answer. The boots are sculpted. I know with the original promo pics, they were just painted on lines, and we were like, what, Mattel? Why would you do that? You have the molds. Well, they actually used them in their finished product, which is kind of cool. On the back, it's just the typical DC Universe Classics Superman buck with one difference. There's no cape hole in the back, which is nice. And of course they didn't put the cape hole in there because it's a cloth goods cape. Having a look at the cloth goods cape itself, you can see that this cloth goods cape is a little bit different than the Superpower Superman cloth goods cape. They've kind of gone the way of the cheap here. They've sewn the neck piece, you know, the same way that the Superpowers figure got sewn. It's a little bit messier. Mattel has done a messier job with it, but then there's not as much material to fold over. Whereas Kenner, when they did theirs, there's actually an entire fold over of material. So you can put the cape over his shoulders and you can spread it out. Like, the capes in the Kenner figures really were a standout item on their action figures. They really were one of the things that made the Kenner figures really, really cool. Aside from the fact they had rad action features, they had the badass capes. This one's okay, it's pretty good, it's not great. However, it's a great throwback for the Kenner Superpowers line, even though they're calling it Super Friends. We all know that this is basically just a Superpowers decoed figure, right? Now, one thing I'm not too keen on actually is the feet they've gone with. This is the flat-footed, like really stupidly difficult to properly stand the character up kind of feet that they've used. Not a big fan of these. They're flat, they're awkward, they're weird, and I don't like them, and I haven't liked them since the first time they used them. I prefer the Superman feet that they used previously that were thicker and wider and more, you know, they were just better. They just looked better compared to these ugly things right here. However, it's not something that I can't fix and change myself as a customizer. You just stick the feet in boiling hot water and then soften the plastic and then pop them apart over here at the ankle hinge and pop in the feet that you want, and voila! Superman no longer looks like he's got flippers instead of feet. Articulation for Supes is going to be as follows. Typical DC Universe Classics. So you've got your ab crunch. Ooh, this ab crunch is actually really tight. Oh, that's a stiff ab crunch. However, that's what you get there for up, and that's what you get for down. So actually not a ton. Some of them have more. This is just really stiff. Shoulders, obviously DC Universe Classics. They've got that swivel hinge, and they can do all kinds of up and down and round 360. You got your biceps, and the biceps as well. They're on a swivel. You got your elbows, and they're single jointed elbows. This is all typical standard DC Universe Classics kind of stuff. You got your swivel wrists, you got your swivel waist, and again, this is very, very tight. And I kind of like it tight. I probably won't do much with this one other than customize it and stick it on a shelf. You've got your DC Universe Classics groin here, where you've got, you know, a hinge, and it, you know, that this is typical right here for DC Universe Classics. A lot of people don't like it. I'm actually okay with the DC Universe Classics groin articulation. Then you've got the articulation up here, 360 above the knee. You got single jointed knees, and then you've got the ankle articulation that goes to about there. So if that's what you're looking for, if you want to do action figure photography, that's what you're looking for articulation. It's typical DC Universe Classics. So here for comparison, we have 4 of the DC Universe Classic style Superman figures. This one was obviously the basic blue they would have used. Sometimes it was a little bit darker, whether the mold came out darker or they used black shading on some of the different releases. But this is the basic blue that they used for most of the DC Universe Classic Supermans. This is the one that was previously unreleased, the blue color. It was supposed to be part of a Superman Bizarro 2-pack. And this is the Mattel 30th Anniversary Superpowers Mess Superman. They just didn't get the blue color right at all. I know some people contend, no, that's what he actually looked like. No, that wasn't. There was a really bad batch of poor plastic Superman figures that were made, released usually on a small card, and the plastic would yellow over time, and the blue actually turned green, because when you have blue and you add yellow, it makes green. Go back and look on eBay, and you'll actually see a whole bunch of these that are around this color, and they look terrible. And actually, my camera's not picking this up properly. This is actually showing up more blue than it actually is. This is actually a really green color. And this one here actually might be showing up a little bit later than it actually is. However, this is going to give you a basic idea of the different blue colors that were used by Mattel while they were trying to give us a Superman figure. And so far, I think that this one wins. I think this is just the right blue by comparison to this one, which as far as I'm concerned is too dark. This one here, great for Jose Garcia Lopez and Silver Age when you see it in person. However, too light for a regular average modern Superman. And this one right here, well, they just totally messed up the blue on that one. Anyhow, folks, I suppose that brings us to pretty much the end of what I have to say about this figure. My overall marks for this are a 9 out of 10. Docking marks only because of the flat feet and the fact that the cape is not quite up to stuff. It's not quite as good as the Kenner Superpowers quality that we got. However, they did try. They did give us a cloth goods cape. So this figure gets a 9 out of 10 in marks. I'm super satisfied with the blue color, the red color, the yellow. The color palette they chose is excellent. This is actually one of the better DC Universe Classics Superman heads. They've messed up a lot in the past. This one's actually not too bad. So again, a full 9 out of 10 marks for me for this figure. I'm super satisfied with it. If you can find this at your Walmart or your Target or wherever it is, make sure you pick him up because he's going to go fast, because a lot of Superman collectors like myself have been waiting for this one to come out for a long time, and it's finally here, and we're going bonkers buying them all up. So yeah, get it while you can. Anyhow, Super Friends, we've come to the end of the video, so thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. It really does mean a lot to me. I know a lot of YouTubers say that, but guys, I really do mean it. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. It means the world to me. If you found this video to be helpful, entertaining, funny, insightful, educational in any way, then please leave a like on it so that I know that you liked it. And that kind of thing helps me out a lot. If you have any comments, please leave them down below in the comment section, because I honestly really do like hearing from people. I know a lot of people say that too, but I enjoy reading the comments on my videos. So if you have any comments, leave them down in the comment section below. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel and you think that my sort of content is the kind of thing that you would like to see more of, well, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to ding the bell, and then you'll never miss a video that I put up. And remember, if you ever get sick and tired of me or bored of me, you can just always unsubscribe. That's the magic of YouTube. Anyhow, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Have a super day, and I'll see you next time with the next one. Bye-bye for now.